Chia. We're going to present the pipeline monitor.
All right, this is our weekly report. So the work that we did over the last week by each individual member is James added tornado to do server pushes to the pipeline that modifies the D3 chart on the go. What I did was I wrote unit tests for the news app and also incorporated Selenium to test the features in an automated fashion. What Eddie did was he fixed bugs and also added a bookmark feature to the news app. And Susan, she managed to find this nice little library called Goose that allows you to extract an image and a summary of each article.
All right, going to talk about what I did. Basically, right, the way the pipeline needs to work is that we have to get updates from the back end. So we can try and queue that from the front end using some timer. I didn't want to do that, so I thought it was a little more elegant if we did push updates from the back end. So that's what the Tornado server does. Use WebSockets to push from the server to the front end. So the page is fetched from Django and it's rendered. And with that, it downloads the WebSocket.js, which initializes the WebSocket connection. Once a connection is established, the server can push a JSON payload. So I also modified the D3 force layout chart so that it would render whenever it received that package. So here's a structure of the prototype JSON payload. I say prototype because like right now there's only a couple fields like name and status, but we're going to add message, description, and URL basically so that the user can click and be taken to a view that has a little more detail about the particular task. We also added some Sphinx documentation. So basically, here's an example where it renders, the doc strings to generate this like help documentation. Here you're looking at the task model, and it's showing the documentation for the different methods that were added to that model.
So these are the technician stats that we have for the week. So everyone's commits went up a little bit due to the work that we did. We also closed quite a bit of issues. We also have a graph here that shows the commit activity. And as usual, we also have our pie chart and bar graph that shows the commit breakdown and the issues that we close. Next, we have our Python scores for both apps, the news and the pmonitor. Pmonitor is doing relatively well, sitting at 7, but there's some serious work that needs to be done for a news app. Yeah, we're sitting at a negative right now. So that's it. We're gonna demo in a bit, but the things that we want to do for next week are bridge the tasks on the news app to the pipeline monitor. So as of right now, the pipeline monitor is still displaying dummy data. So we want to create some relevant data that's relevant to what's running in the news app. We want to fix the awful Python score to the news app, and also deploy the changes to the live side.
All right, so now we're gonna try and give a quick demo of the actual Tornado server push. So let's see if we can get this set up. So right here, when you initialize, you're just it's waiting for the connection. So this is like Daniel said, this is just like a mock test, but running the Tornado server will connect. And there we go. Actually, the server is actually pushing on each iteration, it's pushing to the front end without any user interaction. So I know you didn't like the floating things, but it works. And there you can see that a task has completed with error. I think Daniel's going to show some of the testing that we've done.
Right. Okay. So just want to show you that we wrote some unit tests. So I'm just gonna run them really fast. Yes. So we have some passing unit tests. We're gonna do the same thing for P monitor. So there's one failing test, and that's because of a feature that James added, but it should be solved. It can be solved in a minute. So there we have it. Those are the unit tests, and I also started working on the selenium tests. So I'm gonna run this as well, run that as well. So what it does is basically opening up a window, going to the news app, and clicking on a link, and making sure that it's going to the correct article. And there we have it. And that's our status.
Let me show the Susan's thing.
All right, and we also gonna show you the work that the features that Eddie and Susan added.
Manage.
So if we go to the news app, we see that we have a new bookmark feature, which is what Eddie added. So if you bookmark something and go to the bookmark tab, you'll see that the article is now here, and you can also go to it and see that it's the correct article. That's the thing that Eddie was working on. You can also unbookmark it, and it will no longer be there. What Susan was working with on the Goose library was to extract an image and get the main summary. And here we have it. You can go to an article and just see everything on the app itself. And that's
Click like the pictures.
and you can also go to the main article if you want to. And that's basically our status report for the week.